ささの葉さらさらのけばに揺れるお星さまキラキラ空から見ている。
Hello, everybody. I'm TMcGowan, and I'm here to celebrate Tanabata Matsuri, or the Star Festival. But one of the questions I get asked a lot is, what does Tanabata mean? If you look at this decoration I've made for the Tanabata Matsuri in the past, you'll see that we have the characters for 7, evening or night, and festival. Now, normally these would be read Shiti Seki Sai, the 7th night festival, because Tanabata is celebrated, as you know, on July 7th, or the 7th night of the 7th month. But why is it read Tanabata? That has a really interesting history, which I'd like to share with you. Scholars think that Tanabata refers to Tana, which means shelves or levels, and Hata, which means weaving, Hata ori. Now, if you look at this map I have here, you will see that many things came from China through Korea and then to Japan. And one of those things was a certain kind of weaving, a kind of weaving called brocade. Now, brocade is different from your regular kind of simple weaving. This was a kind of weaving that was probably done over 1,000 years ago in Japan. It's called ikat. And if I show you this side of it, and I show you the other side of it, you'll see that they're the same. So this has just one level of weaving. But brocade was a very special kind of cloth because, if I show you this little piece I have here, just a fragment as you can see, one side has this pattern, but the other side has a completely different pattern. And this was made possible because you had 2 levels, 2 tana, working at the same time. So they think that Tanabata refers to the special kind of weaving, the double layered or 2-storied loom that made it possible to make brocade. Now, China was the place where brocade weaving started, and they taught the Koreans how to do it, and the Koreans took brocade weaving to Japan over 1,000 years ago. And along with their looms and the craftsmen who made the looms, these weavers also brought their stories and the rituals that went with the weaving. Now, of course, in Japan, there were other rituals that had been celebrated even before the Koreans brought this technology. And so these got mixed together to be the special kind of celebration that's done in Japan today. So even though China, Korea, and Japan all celebrate the Star Festival, they celebrate it quite differently. So in China, Korea, and Japan, when they looked up at the heavens, instead of seeing what we call the Milky Way in English, they saw a great river, the river of heaven, Amanogawa. And on the sides of the river, on the banks, they saw 2 bright stars, what we call Altair and Vega. And they must have thought to themselves, if you were living on the banks of the river of heavens, what might you hear? You might hear the wind and the waves lapping against the banks. But you might also hear moo, moo, moo. That's right. These are the oxen that live on the banks of the river of heaven. And this is Hikoboshi-sama, the ox herd. Every day he would take his oxen along the banks of the river of heaven so that they would have fresh grass to eat. Moo, 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 the cows would say as they walked along. But one day Hikoboshi-san heard katarin dong, katarin dong, katarin dong across the river. What's that beautiful sound? He thought to himself. What is that I'm hearing? Katarin dong, katarin dong, katarin dong. It continued. Katarin dong, katarin dong, katarin dong. On the other side of the river of heaven, Orihime-sama, the weaver maiden, was busy at her loom. She had to weave all day long, every single day, to make the beautiful brocade cloth, because her father was the emperor of heaven, and he was waiting for her to make a special brocade for him. Katarin dong, katarin dong, katarin dong. She wove until she was so tired. Oh, she stopped for a moment to rest. And in the distance she heard, moo, moo, moo. Oh, it sounds like there must be some ox nearby, she said. And then she went back to work. Katarin dong, katarin dong, katarin dong, until finally the cloth was finished. Just as she cut it from the loom, don, 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 she heard a knock at her door, and in came her father, the emperor of the heavens. Orihime, he said, feeling the cloth. Migoto-ja. It is beautiful. This is the most splendid cloth you have ever made. Now that you have become the finest weaver of the heavens, there is something I've been meaning to talk with you about. What is it, father? Said Orihime. Well, I think it is time that you are married, and marry someone who is as hardworking as yourself. I've found the perfect groom for you. He is an ox herd on the other side of the river, and his name is Hikoboshi-sama. Hikoboshi-sama? Said Orihime. Why, that's who I must have heard the other day. Will you consider marrying him? Said her father. Orihime blushed and nodded. And so the two met, and it was love at first sight. They married, and from that day forth, they spent every moment they could together. Oh, Orihime, look at this necklace I made for you. Oh, it's beautiful, said Orihime. They played in the fields and looked at the flowers and just enjoyed one another's company. And so the months and days went by. And look, this is Orihime's loom. It was covered in dust. She never wove anything because she was too busy spending her time with Hikoboshi-sama. And the emperor of the heavens noticed, and he was not pleased. He called the young lovers to him, and he said to them, "It is all very well that you love one another. But, Orihime, if you do not weave your brocade, what are we in the heavens to wear? And Hikoboshi, what about your oxen? They've run wild on the banks of the Amanogawa, the river of heaven, and they're causing problems for everyone. You must get back to work." Oh, please, Father, don't punish us. We just want to be together. No, you cannot be together anymore. From this day forth, you will be on opposite sides of the river, just as you were before. Oh, please, Father, anything but that. Oh, Emperor, please have mercy on us. We just want to be together, said Hikoboshi-sama. Finally, the emperor relented. Very well, he said. If you can show me that you can work hard for a full year, I will let you meet on the night of the 7th day of the 7th month. And so Orihime went back to work. Katarin don, katarin don, katarin don, weaving on her side of the river. And on the opposite side, mo, mo, mo. Hikoboshi went back to tending his oxen. But in their hearts, they were both thinking, oh, how many more days until we can see each other again? And so the months and days went by. And finally, the 7th day of the 7th month came, and Orihime ran down to the river, but oh no, look what had happened. In the night, the rain had fallen, and the waves were cresting over the banks. Oh no, there's no way I can make it to the other side. Just then, pata pata pata, pata pata pata. Don't worry, Orihime-sama. The kasasagi, the magpies, had come flying toward her. We'll help you. And before she could ask them what they were going to do, pata pata pata, pata pata pata, they formed a bridge connecting wing to wing so Orihime-sama could run across their backs over the river of heaven straight into the arms of Hikoboshi-sama, who was waiting for her on the other side. Oh, kasasagi-tachi, magpies, thank you, they said. And so the two lovers spent the day together. And from a distance, the Emperor of the Heavens looked on, and he was pleased. And so it was that the 7th day of the 7th month became Tanabata, the Star Festival. And on that night, when you look up at the sky, you will see the river of heaven, and you will see a slightly blue star, which is Orihime-sama, and a slightly yellow star, which is Hikoboshi-sama. And on the night of Tanabata, we all pray for good weather so that the wishes of these two lovers will be granted and they will be able to spend this one day of the year together. So, of course, the first people to celebrate Tanabata in Japan were the aristocrats, the wealthy people who could afford cloth like this. And on the day, they would put out their best kimono, their most beautiful robes. And as time wore on, more people wanted to celebrate the festival, but of course they couldn't afford these expensive robes. And luckily, in Japan, they have something very similar to brocade that became less and less expensive, and that is paper made to look like brocade. And so people would make kimono to hang as decoration. And this is actually an old-fashioned doll that's made to look like Hikoboshi-sama. Here is his the kanji for his name. Hikoboshi. Boshi is the character for star. So this is Hikoboshi-sama from around the Meiji period. And of course, we also have from the same set, this is an example I made of Orihime-sama. And you can see that the paper looks like beautiful brocade, but it was much less expensive, so everybody could celebrate Tanabata together. And these are the characters for Orihime-sama, or the Weaver Maiden. And so everybody prays, of course, that these two lovers will meet in person on Tanabata to spend the day together. And my wish for Tanabata is that we will all stay safe and healthy, and that very soon, just like the lovers, Orihime and Hikoboshi-sama, we will be able to meet in person once more. Happy Tanabata.